Now, before we get started, I know we already covered James Harden and how he looked last night, but I wanted to get your take, Ms. Houston. What did you think about him out on the floor?
Honestly, that was a warm-up James Harden performance. I'm not surprised. I mean, it's a normal stat line, 21 minutes or so, 3 for 10 from the field, still getting you double digits. So he went out there and did what he normally does, but I don't even care what he did on the floor. It's off the floor. He deflected from all of the disastrous situation that's happening to my Rockets and basically saying, when I'm out here, I'm going to play. And I actually was more happy to hear that he's unproblematic when he shows up than what we've been seeing behind the scenes.
Okay, that's you need him to play basketball in the end. That is the job. All right, before the last break, we recommended Zach's column on his 5 most interesting players entering the season. Zach, you included Kevin Durant in there. What do you think are realistic expectations for him coming off an 18th-month absence with an Achilles, which, as Chiney knows, is one of the trickiest injuries for a basketball player?
Yeah, we saw Breanna Stewart come back strong from it. Historically, it has dinged your performance a little bit, but look, Kevin Durant is 7 feet tall. He's one of the greatest shooters of all time. That right there alone makes you think he should be able to be 85% of his old self. Throw in the fact that he looked way better than that in his preseason offer, and he looked fast, explosive, confident, athletic. I think it's realistic to think 90% of his old self, maybe better as the season goes on. And that's an all-NBA player. I mean, that's how good Kevin Durant is. He was one of the 5 best players in the league, one of the 3 best players in the league, at least before the injury. And if he's a little bit worse than that, that's still amazing. And maybe we get lucky, and he's all the way back.
I strongly agree, Rachel. And look, here's the thing. I feel like Kevin Durant is going to finish in the MVP conversation when it's all said and done this season. He's the best scorer, in my opinion, to ever touch the basketball. And when I watched him in the preseason game, he didn't skip a beat. Obviously, his shots wasn't falling, but I'm talking about his lateral movement, the way that he was getting up and down the floor, his explosiveness. And I said, you know what? KD came back with it on his mind, and he's ready to address the NBA like the numbers on the house.
Today, you know about coming back from Achilles.
Yeah.
Right? Chiney, you know.
Yep, exactly, Rach, because.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And I'll just keep going just because I'm in alignment with both of what Zach and Perk said. And, you know, for me, I always have that number of how long it took for you to get back. And for KD, what is it, like over 500, like 550 days since he injured himself in the NBA Finals to now playing against the Warriors opening night. But, you know, Zach, you were so right. There are players like Breanna Stewart who comes back from the Achilles and his Finals MVP. Talking about MVPs, Perk, I came back and had an all-star season. Science has really helped change the narrative when it comes to athletes recovery. But that all being said, normally I'm glass half full, Chiney. Right, but I do want to just, you know, weather the storm and just let people know that it will take him a while to truly feel back in his own body. He's on a new team with a new coach, and that will also be an adjustment. And if we're being honest, this probably, like, the reality is that he's the best offensive weapon we've seen over a decade when it comes to natural ability, height, talent, all his abilities on the court. He lives in the gym. He is doing everything right. The struggle will still be there, but the funny thing here is that even if KD struggles, let's be real, he's still better than most players in the NBA,
Right.
So 90% will still be a great season for him. And his shooting ability and his release point as a 7-footer changes the game. So Rach, I do think that this, like, the expectations are hard given the Brooklyn Nets overall. But overall, it will be different for him to be out there, and his difference will still be like, what, all-star?
Right, exactly. Well, I was going to ask you, though, because you're the one here who's had this injury in terms of coming back. You had your all-star season, but what did they tell you about the possibility of re-injury? And Perk, I know you know something about this, too. Chiney, what did they tell you? Because that's 2 factors, right? It's about, hey, how do I look when I'm out there? But then it's how risky is it that something else happens to me?
I can't believe I always have to do it, but why does my brain always go to TikTok? It's like that song, Don't Rush. Like, don't rush. When it comes to, you know, returning from injury, this has been a blessing in disguise. My dad always says every disappointment can be a blessing if you allow it. And having more time, you know, not playing in the bubble, not having the Olympics has really helped KD so that he doesn't feel rushed to go out there, and that's when injury happens again.
Yeah, I'm right there. I'm right there with you. And Rachel, another thing is the sacrificing you do off the court. And we all know, especially myself, Kevin Durant don't do clubs. He don't do the partying.
Yep.
He goes to the gym, back to his house, back to the gym, back to his house, and maybe back to the gym again, because he's a guy that just want to play video games, watch basketball, and play basketball. So I have zero concerns about Kevin Durant. And he's skinny. He has that lanky body. It's not like he was a heavyweight like myself.
I'm just excited to get KD back. Pre-injury, he was on pace to be one of the 10 greatest players of all time. We've never seen a scorer like him before. And if he's most of the way back and you have a second elite shot creator in Kyrie Irving and a whole lot of depth at a whole lot of different positions, the Nets are sneakily like 11, 12 quality NBA guys deep. I think this team is going to be a problem, and I hope it is, because that means that we've got Kevin Durant back all the way, and that's what we all want to see.
Amen. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.